Namaste, everybody. I hope I'm audible. Audio is okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, welcome to our fall session, fall 22 session of Vivekananda Yoga Immersion and Teacher Training Program with RYT 200. So, my name is Subai Kambaram. For those of you that I have not met, I'm one of Guruji's earlier students from 2017, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience with Guruji and sort of MC through this session for all of you. I want to say it's really my honor and privilege to be here, to be able to present the program and all the features of this teacher training program to all of you. Before we get started, let's do a really short mindfulness exercise, and then I'm going to give it over to Guruji for our Ganesh Vandana. So let us adjust our posture and stay comfortable in a posture that signifies dignity, with a neutral spine, and watch our breath. A friendly reminder to be here and now, to bring our attention to what's happening in the webinar and being present in all dimensions of our being. We will chant 3 Omkaras. Take a deep inhale. Enjoy the silence after the Makara. And from that place of silence, let us gently open our eyes and get ready to invoke the blessings of Lord Ganesha. Over to you, Guruji. You're muted, Guruji.
Muted. Let us start with a Ganesh Bhajan. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvighram Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om. Om Ganganapataye Namo Namah. Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namaha. अष्टविनायक नमो नमः गणपति पापा मोरिया मंगलमूर्ति मोरिया ओम गंगणपतये नमो नमः सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः गणपति पापा मोरिया मंगलमूर्ति मोरिया मंगलमूर्ति मोरिया Swami Vivekananda is our Guru. Namaskri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Shuraye Satchit Sukhaswarupaya Swamine Tapaharine Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We will do Deepa Prajwalan. Deepa Prajwalan is we light the lamp. It is normally it is a ceremonially we will light the lamp, and we will all of us together we will chant Asatoma Sadgamaya. Come, light the lamp. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityunjaya Om Shanti. Shiva, carry on with it.
Okay, thank you, Guruji. Okay, I'm going to present my screen. So let's start our presentation. So once again, welcome to the Vivekananda Yoga webinar on yoga immersion. So to kind of piggyback on the Ganesh Vandana and the opening invocation, let us also take a brief moment to do a prayer that we typically do before every one of our yoga sessions. And this is more like like setting the tone and an affirmation to decide or to set an intent as to what is supposed to follow. And you can read the translation, or if the Serenity prayer resonates better with you, you can go with that as well. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhikamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. So as you can see, it's from the Taittiriya Upanishad, and it's a wonderful intent to set before we embark upon any program, any study. So As we all know, we are here to learn about the immersion program, and it's also something that allows you to be able to teach yoga to others. And it's an RYT 200, which means that the school is registered with Yoga Alliance, and you can then complete the registration as a yoga teacher and be able to have the RYT 200 added after your name once you finish the program. Okay, so a little bit about what Vivekananda Yoga is, and about the organization, what it's made of, and all of that. So this is a non-profit organization, and it's pretty much run by volunteers, and it is helped by donors. As I mentioned, we are Yoga Alliance accredited. We have some satellite branches in Phoenix, and Guruji has conducted programs in Chicago, and it's headquartered in San Diego. And so we've been meeting online and in person when possible to run all the yoga sessions, lessons, teacher training programs, and so on. So I wanted to mention that earlier we used to have the names of all the volunteers in that slide. And as we started having more and more people trained and the volunteers number started increasing, it became nearly impossible to have the slide full of names. And there are so many people who keep it running. And of course, we have Guruji, who's our guiding light. So we'll talk a little bit more. We may get a chance to hear from some of our teachers and volunteers and others who have taken the program as we go along. I'll explain a little bit about the course itself. And as and when you have questions, feel free to paste them in the chat. We'll have a little Q&A at the end. And if the questions are easily answered, one of the teachers might respond to you in the chat itself. If not, we will take it up and we can have a discussion about it. Okay. So what exactly is taught in this program? And this is really interesting because the other schools, the quality and the content of yoga that is taught in this time and age, especially in the West, it pales in comparison to what is offered by Vivekananda Yoga, because a lot of times yoga is conflated with asanas, which arguably it's a very important part of yoga, but it's not all that yoga is. And who better to teach us what yoga is than Guruji, who experiences it. And yoga is an experiential science. There's tons of books we could read about yoga and be really knowledgeable about it, but if it's not in our experience, what good is it to us, right? So we learn the asanas. Yes, we do need the physical strength and energy in the physical body, but we also do a lot more than that. We learn the shat karmas, otherwise called kriyas. These are important to cleanse our body. There's what's called sukshma vyayam, which are the subtle body exercises, which kind of ignite and release the energy that may be stuck in the joints. And there's various levels of sukshma vyayam that we get to learn. And then obviously pranayama and relaxation techniques. You learn about emotional intelligence because yoga it encompasses every dimension of our being, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. And you understand how much of your emotional intelligence is enhanced and enriched by a yoga practice. And then we always need to have like a philosophical backbone upon which we base our studies. And we find that in the Bhagavad Gita and the Yoga Vasishta, and definitely the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, which the Patanjali Yoga Sutras are one of the most principal texts of the Yoga Darshana, of all the darshanas we have in our philosophical background. So, and then you have the Bhakti Yoga and the bhajans the bhajan that we experienced at the beginning is like a small snapshot of what we could experience as we delve deeper into Bhakti Yoga. And the 4 streams of yoga, I'll talk a little bit about it as we go along as well. And learning to learn and how to learn and what to learn is one aspect of it. And then learning to teach is another aspect of the program. And so you're able to also help somebody else understand the content and the knowledge and the wisdom gained in this. And then there's the energy anatomy, which now modern science is catching up with what yoga knew thousands of years ago as to how the energy body inside works, the chakras and the nadis, and the anatomy, physiology, yoga ethics. So the program obviously has so many different components to it. And I wanted to give you a brief summary of the different things that are covered at a very high level. And there's all the details in each of these and others that, for paucity of space, I have left out. But it's a very rich program is really what I want to say through this slide. Okay, so the image on the top left that tells you the 8 limbs of yoga, and that's so important for us to learn. And as you can see, asanas is one of the limbs of yoga, but it's not all that yoga is. And we learn about all the limbs to the extent that we can. And the 4 streams I mentioned, the karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, and pretty much everything that would be described as yoga in our scriptures tend to fall under these 4 categories. And the Ashtanga yoga is generally referred to as Raja yoga. And the Shat Karma, the Kriyas are described a little bit in this image, where you learn how to. Some of us might be already familiar with how we do the Jalaneti, the Neti of cleansing the nasal passages. It helps us with allergies and sinusitis and issues like that. And that's one part of it. And there are a few other kriyas we get to learn. And this is, and things like Trataka and Neti and Dhauti, these are really not taught by anybody else. And Guruji has experienced them. He has both learned them, taught them to so many people, and helped us overcome some of the initial resistance to trying these. So it's really one of the very few places in the United States that you will actually experience how to learn the kriyas. So that I think that is something that makes this really unique. And so as a school, I think we are extremely fortunate to have the guidance, the knowledge and wisdom of Guruji. And not only because of his extensive scholarship, of his learning, and I have a slide that talks about his credentials, and that's one part of it, but it's also that he teaches what he lives. And that is extremely valuable for us because, like I said, we could pick up a book and now there's tons of YouTube videos and knowledge is cheap, information is out there, but there's nobody to really say that I've tried this is how it works, this is how it does not work. And these are the pitfalls you could fall into, and this is how you should not be doing this. And I think that wisdom is so lacking in the world that we live today, and we are really very fortunate to have Guruji provide that aspect of yoga to us. And like I said, we are all just volunteers, we are all teachers, and we all come from all walks of life, from doctors to architects to naturopaths to Ayurvedic physicians and so on. So we each bring our flavor of how yoga helps us and the subject knowledge, expertise that we may have procured through other means. And it's a really wonderful mix of ideas. And we all have a wonderful experience just learning together. And some of these student-led teaching sessions are really eye-opening to everybody who's present, because that's the sort of thing you cannot get anywhere else. Okay, so what exactly, when you embark upon a program that's as rich as this, there can be doubts as to, am I supposed to already know yoga before? Should I already have been practicing for a while? And the answer is absolutely not. There's no need to know anything, but if there is some experience, I'm sure it can be helpful, but there is no requirement. And really, it is just practicing, listening to what Guruji says, and following everything that we are learning. And that's really all that we need to do. And this is really hard to capture in one slide. What we get is really hard to describe because you have a life-changing experience. And now, I mean, I learned with Guruji 5 years ago, and the trajectory that my life took after my first teacher training, it's impossible to have achieved that if I hadn't come in contact with Guruji. And for that, I'm eternally grateful to him. And now yoga, I cannot imagine an aspect of my life that has not been infiltrated by yoga, and thankfully so. And there is a lot of focus on physical strength, yes, agility, flexibility, and you get all of that. But more importantly, I think we learn how to see life and how to live life, and nobody teaches us that. Nobody teaches us what happiness is, what inner joy is, and what we are here for. And I think the deeper meaning that we get out of life, what we were here to do, is I think the greatest the greatest benefit of taking this course. And I'm sure there's a lot of other testimonials that will strengthen that view for us as well. So I want to talk a little bit more about Guruji. Guruji is in India right now, and he has the list of schools here is really the who's who of yoga in India. And Guruji has studied extensively, sometimes living in many of these places for several months to absorb everything. And I think that's one of the great aspects of a teacher, is to be able to learn constantly, and that is very infectious. That drive and love for learning, it rubs off on all of us, and we are really very fortunate to have the type of teacher that Guruji is, not just because of his yoga knowledge, but also because of how he approaches learning, life, yoga, and everything, and health. We constantly learn from him. And I can read from S. Vyasa, Bangalore, to Shivananda Ashram, to the Dayananda Ashram, Vivekananda Kendra, Bihar School of Yoga. And I mentioned the Sukshma Vyayam, that's from the Bihar School. So there's so many aspects to our program that Guruji has picked up from all of these different schools, that makes it a very truly unique program, both knowledge-wise, content-wise, and the whole shebang that we get out of it is really incomparable. So I'm going to ask Guruji to talk a little bit more about it at this point. And I'm going to move to the Guruji. Let me know when I can move to the following slides, but you can keep talking as I'm presenting.
Thank you, Shubha. God bless you. And thank you very much for the nice introduction which you gave about me. Friends, you are welcome to the webinar. And there may be some noise coming from outside, because in India, the houses are not soundproof. So we have to bear with that. Now, coming to the teacher training, what we are giving. First, we all started within a small group where I started teaching them, and then they got interested, and their first thing is they said we want more of that. And first batch of teacher trainees have come, and then we started. They became now Shubha, Praveen, and then Srinivas, Mithun, Paul. All these things who are running those things are all my past students. So it is something like a salt dal, which wants to know the depths of the ocean and then merges into the ocean. It is something like that. That is a symbiotic relationship what is happening. So whoever comes into it, they become a part of us. So that is the program is all about. Why do they do that? This is not just like any other programs where teacher trainings, where they teach some asanas, mostly physical, and then maybe some pranayama. So that's it. Now, but here what we do is we answer the very fundamental question. That is the philosophy of yoga. Yoga, what it means is it answers very fundamental questions about us. So that way we have got in India, we have got six traditional systems which answers the fundamental questions about. So what do I want in life? It answers the questions like, what is that I want in life? All of us, we know what do I want in life? I want happiness. I don't want misery. That is what we have, all efforts which we are making, we are all directed towards getting happiness and then avoiding sukha prapti, dukkha nivrutti. That is what we want. But the issue is, and we are pursuing it day to day in our life of happiness. But are we really happy? We are comfortable. We have got a lot of comforts because of the wealth management, and then we all became rich compared to what material resources we have acquired a lot. And look, we are comfortable. We are much more comfortable than our previous generations, thanks to the science and technology inventions that have been made and human progress we have made. So that is fine. But are we really happy? We are constantly running. We are constantly running after happiness, isn't it? So do we really have to run after happiness? And where does happiness lie? That's the fundamental question. So where does happiness? Take your finger and answer this fundamental question. That is, I want happiness. And then where is happiness? We are looking at maybe happiness is there, here, in this article, that article, in food and people outside. We are looking for it, but where does it really happen? All of us will see it. Where is happiness? Happiness is within us. If we say happiness is within us, why are we looking outside? This is the confusion which we are having. It is the ignorance which we have. This answers this fundamental question, that is, your happiness lies within you, and then yoga can take you to that happiness. At this moment, where are we? We are anxious, we are afraid, and then we are operating from my unfulfilled. My fulfillment, I get fulfilled only if I get something. If I get that, I get fulfilled. And then only to find I want something more out of it. So basically, this is the issue that we have got. Present day, we have got such a stress, and the modern science and technology has made our lives comfortable, but we have become stressful. And then also pollution. So how to get out of this pollution? Pollution is not necessarily with the air and all. Pollution of the mind. Chitta mala. There is so much of impurity in the mind. So can we recognize the impurities within the mind? Can we clean up the body, clean up the mind? So yoga is all about that. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya chavaidjakena yopa karottam pravaram muninam patanjalim prangyaridhanatosmi. Patanjali is the codifier of, he is the one who introduced this Raja yoga to us. So what is it? To remove the impurities within the mind. So he is the one who has introduced it. So removing the impurity. What is the impurity in the mind? Impurity is that our happiness lies within us, ignorance lies within us, and we are looking for it outside. And then all the religions, all the systems tell you that is, you do this, you will become happy. If not now, maybe to become happy in this life anyway, you have missed it, and then you will go to heaven. So these are all the belief systems. Belief systems, and people believe in that some guru says it, that some prophet says it, and we believe it. But then yoga is one thing that is only experience, no belief. Don't believe anything unless you experience it. So yoga is one thing. It holds your hand, takes step by step from where you are to a higher level of our existence. So most of the time we are looking outside. So we have to look to inside where we are. So how, but then, okay, I'll close my eyes and then try to look in. But then the mind wanders away. You cannot control the mind. How to control the mind? How to get mastery over the mind? If once we get the mastery over the mind, then we go, when we experience happiness. We all experience the happiness, isn't it? Sometime or the other. Every time we go there, we experience the happiness. So today, if you are looking for some material things, I eat something, I get happiness. If I after 4 or 5 servings, I feel negative. I may not like. What I like, somebody else may not like. Right? So, but then all of us, we like it something. There is a place, time, where all of us, when we go there, we feel really happy. Every time we go there, every one of us, there is such a situation. Can you think of it? It is in our deep sleep. Is there anybody who doesn't like deep sleep? And then in deep sleep, what was there? Body is not there. Mind is not there. Your possessions are not there. Relatives are not there. Friends are not there. Your name is not there. Your fame is not there. Yet, every time we go there, we'll feel it happy. Isn't it? So that kind of, but I only think is at that moment, we were not aware of that. Only after that we will see. So what is that it is? How do I get it? Get that kind of a happiness when I'm with awareness. That is what yoga is going to lead us. And then one thing, this can happen individually, you can't try it. Individually, you try it, it is very difficult to get. All of us, we need a group. It's a satsanga. So in a group, we learn it. All these things become possible. So we try to learn. When my individual energies are not sufficient to remove the impurities that are removed in my mind, the stress that is there in the mind, then that is a group is necessary. And somebody who is going to give you a direction is necessary. So this is all about finding a meaning to life, finding a purpose to life, and enjoying every minute of your life. And then most of the time we have wandered away into the past or future, how to be there in the present moment. It improves the efficiency of our day-to-day life. Go to the next slide. No, we call it, just now we talk, asatoma satkamaya, tamasoma jyotirkamaya, mrityodma. Asat is, happiness is there within you, but you are looking for, you are happy by yourself, okay, on your own. So how to find that kind of a happiness? That is what we are going to find ourselves, okay. So yoga is only one system where it experientially, step by step, it will take you in the. For that, we have got 8 limbs. First, what do you think of yourself? That's the first thing is, I think I'm the body. Okay, let's work with the body. It takes where we are, and then step by step, it will go take us to a place where we are aware of everything, and we are all the time we are happy about it. Okay, next one. Now, there are two aspects to life. One thing is stimulation. When we get stimulated, stimulation is activating ourselves, and the other thing is relaxation. Stimulation. The 2 aspects of life. So everything we have to do. In the day, we have to energize ourselves, go and do our work, and then so that we get material wealth and intellectual wealth, right? So, but then we have to relax also. The body requires it, mind requires it. But are we able to relax? We are not able to. Stress is something when we are not able to allow ourselves into relaxation. We are not able to sleep well. But all these problems are happening because we are not able to unwind ourselves. Why are we not able to unwind ourselves? Chittamala. The impurities that are there in the mind, chittabuddhis, they're continuously bothering us. How to stop them? It is a stress management program, and then which leads us to from uh, where we are, from stress and the pollution of the mind to happiness and eternal happiness. Okay, but the system we follow is we have to become aware of ourselves. We have to where we are, and we have to accept it. Most of the time, we have got difficulty in accepting it. We are running without a purpose, without a meaning, without a direction. So find a direction for ourselves and then become aware of where we are, become aware of where we want to go, and become aware of not suffering. But it's very difficult to accept where we are. My happiness lies within me. So that's kind of a conviction. Okay? So we have to accept some of the foolish things which we are doing for ourselves. And then develop an attitude towards acquire the necessary skills, knowledge, skills, attitudes to move in the right direction. And Vivekananda Yoga, this is teacher training program, is something which we are going to take you step by step towards that. Okay, but I'll stop it here. I think if questions, you please ask those questions. You can write them so that we can answer them. Now I'll ask some of the, instead of our saying it, it is our part. In our group, we have got a wonderful. Our teachers, my past students include, as Subha was telling, senior surgeons, senior physicians, doctors, Ayurvedic doctors, allopathic doctors. So all these people, they join and experience it. They think for good for physical health as well as mental health and the social health. And they became our teachers here. And then I don't know whether, because most of them are busy on calls. I wonder if they can come. Otherwise, the past teachers, the previous batch, we have got a previous batch, and then I'll just ask them to share their experience, how they experienced this training program from the previous batch of people. Chris, are you there? Can you share your experience? Chris?
Hello, Guruji. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm here.
How you experience? Can you share it, please?
Yeah, my experience started before I joined my crossroads, probably in December. I had a spine injury of some sort when I was hiking. So I had a lot of pain in my neck and my shoulder, and eventually got a little better, but they diagnosed I had spinal stenosis, and I wanted to find out what I could do to not have it happen again. And it was just magical how things just happen in your life. So a week before our class started in March, I met Paul, and I had been to yoga before, but the yoga that Paul showed us was not the yoga that I seen before. Much like they said on the slides, that the breathing was not, I didn't know about the breathing, that beautiful word pranayama, about regulating the breath. These things were all new to me. And Paul shared his own personal story, and that personalized the yoga for me as well, and let me see some hope in the program. So my wife Linda and I both enrolled in it, and we've been coming to the classes almost every day. I found that after I got into the program, it helped me at work too, because in our work, it's very stressful. So a lot of times I have to multitask, meaning my mind's trying to do 2 or 3 things at the same time. My body's sometimes doing something different than my mind, and my colleagues are the same way. So their stress builds on mine. And I found just through something simple like the human breath, I could regulate my response to the stress and control, how I went through it. It didn't make it perfect, but it seemed to help me some. So those were the things that helped me. And that I didn't share something else that with anybody in my class or Linda. In March, my father passed away, and he went into hospice in March. So I went home, and no one tells you how to handle that or what to do or how to do that. You know, the things you have to say and how you have to be there. But before I went to the hospital every day, I went to the yoga. And when I put the computer on, there were my teachers with the smiles. Breathe in, breathe out, doing my asanas. And it put me in a mental state that I could do what I had to do. And I think if I got nothing else out of the yoga, that was the most important thing for me. So I have to thank this program, Guruji and Paul, and all the teachers that helped me, because I found out that one of the most important things in life, if you show up for yoga, it will show up for you, and it'll be there. It's just a dedication, and there's a big return. This is a teacher training, but before you teach other people, you have to learn yourself, and there's a lot of rewards for this program. So thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Chris and Linda, both of them wife and husband, they are the best students I have ever got. And every day, without fail, all the classes, and very sincere, and you can see the progress in them as much as we invest. And Linda, before Linda, Josna, are you there? Linda, I'll come back to you. Josna, are you there?
Yes, Guruji. Namaskaram, Guruji.
Josna, yeah, namaskaram. Josna is a practicing doctor and a physician, and then we are lucky to have. We have got a group of about nearly 10 doctors, practicing doctors, and then we are glad to have. Luckily, she is available today. Okay, will you please share your experience with the group?
Definitely, Guruji. Good afternoon, everyone. You can hear me? I see Paul on my screen. Awesome. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I've been so lucky to be a part of the YTT 200-hour class last year, and it's been a truly life-changing experience for me. Even though I was born and brought up in India, I never really had an opportunity to experience yoga until I came to the United States and much later in my life. So the kind of yoga that you hear about in classes here, like you take a yoga class at the local YMCA or perhaps at your local gym, it's very different. It's very much focused on physical activity, almost treating it like a exercise form. Which, of course, as I think probably everybody in this group knows that's why you want to become a yoga teacher, but it definitely has those benefits. But much more importantly, it has so many other realms of development on a personal level. And as we all know, yoga is the tool that you can use for the ultimate goal, right? Which is why we're here. So what I think, what Vivekananda Yoga offers that's probably not offered anywhere else, at least not that I know of, is that it's like, I think probably you haven't heard the whole prior conversations, but it's really the satsanga, what everybody brings to the group, and the theoretical part of it. You know, we went over. So when Guruji teaches yoga and other teachers too, they give you these pearls of wisdom, like Yoga Sutras. So it's not just getting into a pose and mastering it. There's a lot more spiritual aspect to it. We focus on there's a lot of focus on pranayama. There's a focus on all the various basic concepts of yoga, the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. You'll be standing in tree pose for a long time, and then Sthiram Sukham Asanam. So you have to say, okay, you have to go beyond the posture and then find the ultimate peace, right? So yeah, so I've taken quite a bit of hiatus from the group, and which is itching to get back to. My daughter is going to college, and actually she's right here. She's in crutches, but she got injured. In any event, life happens, so there are other things that happen too. But I'm really dying to get back to it. At 5:30 every morning, I used to look forward to it, to start your day with this beautiful yoga class, the beautiful satsanga, and that was just an amazing experience. It's truly a life-changing experience. If you're on the fence for any reason at all, just jump in and wherever you're located, it doesn't matter if you're not in San Diego, because I live in Northern California, and I still it's amazing. So, and if you have any questions, reach out to any of us at any time. I think our emails are available, or WhatsApp. There's a group, so you can also find us there. And thank you so much for having me, Guruji. And namaskaram to you. Sorry, I'm holding my phone, so I cannot do a proper namaste. So it's so good to see you.
Thank you, Josman. Thank you very much. You're a wonderful student and you're a wonderful teacher. We are lucky to have you in our school. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Linda?
Bye.
Linda, can you share your experience? How your experience? Linda was in the last batch. She was a teacher. Wait, quickly, in 2 minutes.
Yes. Hi, Guruji. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I piggyback on what everybody else has already said. My experience of this is my husband and I, Chris, and I get up every morning to take the classes, because I can't imagine not starting my day aligned and completely regulated. And it has given me courage to do many things. I work in I'm in a stressful also environment, working in psychology and working with people with mental health issues. And what's interesting to me is that of all the classes and courses I've had to take in psychology and many other subjects, so much of what I've learned actually was already taught 4,000 years ago in the Upanishads, and all these things that we learn about how to be mindful and cognitive behavioral therapy, all the therapies, all the way back to when Freud even started, all comes from the original sources. It's just been reiterated and reiterated. So to have the luxury and privilege to study where the original thought was already developed and proven is quite special, and applying it in my own life, in being able to do difficult things and sit with people in different or difficult situations is quite, it's life-changing. And so I if anybody is just like thinking about it, try it, practice it. It's an experience you have to directly have yourself. I can tell you all about the magical things that have happened to me since February when we started the courses, but unless you experience it yourself and have the changes and notice what happens in your body and in your mind, and my words can't do it justice. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. We will have one more sharing. Manupriya, are you there?
Yes, Guruji. Namaskar, everybody. Thank you, Guruji, for the opportunity to speak and share my experience. Well, my name is Manupriya Sharma. I'm here in San Diego, and just finishing up my course. So I would share 3 things with you that resonated with me during this program. Number 1 is the format of the class. As my background is in education, so I'm a big fan of the format. So that's the first thing kind of I look at. And the format of this class is very, very unique. Shubhaji already shared with you that it's not just some, physical exercises. It's a very comprehensive program. There is a lot of emphasis on the breathing exercises, pranayama, and the philosophy behind it. And there is a lot of support for each aspect of the yoga. So number 2 is the flexibility. I'm a mom. I have 2 boys. So I really appreciate the flexibility this program provides. There are classes every day. There are classes in the morning, early morning. If you are an early morning person, like 5:30 in the morning, there are classes during like around 10 o'clock or something. And then there are classes in the evening. So it provides you a lot of flexibility to choose from, and whatever works with your schedule, you can choose those classes. So I really appreciated that aspect of the program. And the last thing is the feedback. So as it turned out, all of them are I should call them 3 Fs, right? It's the format, flexibility, and the feedback. So at some point in the program, you teach your own cohort, and you get feedback from your peers, you get feedback from the teacher, and you get feedback from Guruji. And that is where I saw the growth. That's where I saw that not only it's not just me working to learn this, but everybody is supporting me, and a great sense of community that this program provides. It's not just like you do the program, you are an outgoing batch, you are an alumni, and then, okay, bye-bye. It's not like that. You are part of the community. One of my challenges was to get up early in the morning at 5:30 to do the class. But one of my classmates, she took the responsibility. She would wake me up in the morning for the classes. So there is a great sense of community in the classrooms. There is a WhatsApp group. You can ask questions anytime. There is support from your peers. There is support from teachers and Guruji. So I highly, highly recommend that if you are on the fence, please take that decision and join the program. One more thing I want to share about the outcome of the program. As I shared that I have 2 boys, so believe it or not, I was always tired. Like they want me to play with them and going out and everything. I was always tired, but that's not the case anymore. I feel that my body has changed. And emotionally as well, when I joined the program, I was emotionally at a very, very weak state. Having lost my mom a year ago, was just unable to cope with that. I am at a much better place emotionally as well. I didn't have to turn off my camera right now. Otherwise, it's hard for me to just think about that. I would have to just run away from talking, but now I can talk, and at least normally I can think about those things. So I feel emotionally very strong as well. Want to thank you, Guruji, for this, and highly, highly recommend this program to everyone.
Thank you, Manu. That's a wonderful review you have given to us. Thank you very much. So finally, what we are going to do is not only with the body, and then the mind. To get to the mind, we have to do the breath and energy. And the goal is that you must forget about the body. You must always be healthy. And then the energy you must be enthusiastic, lively, beautiful all the time. And then mind always peaceful. Ability to focus and defocus and take rest, not continuously, something like a machine that is running continuously without going anywhere. It's something like that is the present state. So from there, you will be able to do it. You have shared these experiences. And then one thing finally I would like to tell you is this, as Manu said, this program is very flexible. You may be there at different places, and then some people may be in India. So we provide such a, once the group is formed, then we mostly come to consensus for common timing. And then we start doing our timings, and then the effort. By and large, we have to invest about nearly about 10 hours in a week. It depends upon. So those people who are not able to invest 10 hours, they will do a longer time. Instead of 4 months, they may be doing it in 6 months. But we will focus specifically, and because people will be working different hours. So basically, we concentrate on weekends. Weekends we'll spend about 4 to 5 hours. The rest of the week, you can do another 4 to 5 hours. So that is basically the. If you have got any questions, you please raise your questions. we will be too glad to help you. Shubha, over to you.
Okay, Guruji. I don't see any questions in the chat, but you could unmute yourself if any questions regarding timings, the delivery, like it will be all online. Maybe in San Diego, there could be some meetups, and maybe in other locations too. So Guruji, once a group is formed, Guruji really tailors it to fit the needs of the group. So I'll give it another few seconds.
Ma'am, my name is Divya. One question I had was I did see on the slides that it said it is Ashtanga yoga. I've heard about Hatha yoga as well. I was just trying to understand the difference, and here are we focusing on Ashtanga yoga?
Guruji.
Thank you. Divya, I can answer you.
Yes, Guruji. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, it is beautiful. Now, what we are asking for is that these names are there: Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga, and then
Right.
Ashtanga Yoga is different meaning. Ashtanga Yoga is 8 limbs yoga. That is the real yoga. That Ashtanga Yoga is Raja is called Raja, otherwise also called Raja Yoga. Okay, that is we do all those things,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
that is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. All the 8 limbs. We will,
Yeah.
but then getting over there is a difficult part of it. If it is difficult part of it, then you need some help. It is so controlled, it doesn't give full details of it. So Hatha Yoga is a preliminary yoga, which some of the yogis, about 500, 600 years back, they designed it. So common people who are not sophisticated intellectually, so those people also, anybody can start it.
Okay.
The thing is, at this moment, what difference is that Raja Yoga deals mostly with the mind. But then to go to the mind, it will require some help. I'm worried about, but the pain in my body. So where is the question of becoming peaceful? So where am I? So that is there. But we think we have the body. Okay, make your body fit and work with the body, and then you must be. If this body is there, but then I must be energetic, lively, isn't it? So for that you need energy. So okay, let's deal with the energy. Energy is through the breath. So we'll go to the next step. That we'll go to the pranayama, and then we'll go to we have to control the mind. Mentally also we must be healthy. So through breath we can control the mind. With small techniques, we control the mind, and mind from there to once it becomes peaceful, we go to higher levels of our existence. Okay, so that is the preliminary yoga. So most of the thing what we do is Hatha Yoga. So Ashtanga Yoga is a higher level of it. We'll know the philosophy of it. We'll study it from wherever we are. Through Hatha Yoga, we'll reach this. This program starts with the Hatha Yoga and takes you to Raja Yoga. But then there is one more problem. This Ashtanga Yoga, his name has been appropriated by some Mysore. There's a school called, I don't remember the Patabi Jewish school is there. So that followers of Patabi, so he named it Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga, he created a series of, it's a brand. It is not Ashtanga Yoga which we are referring. That is only a series of Surya Namaskara as such. And through that, he will take you to something. So that is the special design. We are not referring to that. We are referring to, it start with Hatha Yoga and take you to Ashtanga Yoga, the traditional Ashtanga Yoga as it is laid down in the scriptures, not the Mysore type of Ashtanga. Okay? Did I answer your question?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Please join.
Yes, definitely. I am very much inclined to join.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else who got a question? Ravi, you got some question?
There's one question here, Guruji, from Ravi ji. He says, I need more details about alternative timings if the mornings don't work. So,
If your mornings, you are, no, the one thing I tell you. Most of our training programs will be in the weekends.
Okay.
Right? And then the weekends we can expand depending upon the group system. Weekends we have to expand. And then the other classes we have got is early morning class we have got. And 10 o'clock class for some people who are not working. For them it is 10 o'clock class. Okay? And then in the evening we have got class. Evening we stop. We used to have regular classes, but then the attendance was poor. So maybe we reduce the number of days. If number of people are coming, or the teacher trainees themselves, they want this group, teacher trainee group wants it, we can have special classes for them in the evenings also. They're all open for that. They're very flexible. Whoever suits, whenever the group is there. And another thing I would like to tell you, suppose from Phoenix, about 10 people are there, or 5 people are there. So even minimum about 6 to 7 if they are there. Well, I will come over there and we will have a 10-day, one week. Maybe it can be 4 days, twice I will come. And then we will kind of have an immersion program. We will do it in person in San Diego, because in San Diego, more number of people will be there. So similarly, I have got a batch of people here. You can see these girls here. And then these are wonderful girls. And then I train them, because 1 month, 2 months I am here, what to do? I'm getting the dental work done. I have got a lot of time. So these wonderful girls, they're dancers, and they just started their career. And then a few of the young ladies are also there who are homemakers, you know. So they joined. They're my past students and my neighbors here. And then I created. Now I have already got about 8 or 9 students here. And then they already got their in-person training. They got it. And they're wonderful, very flexible and wonderful. It is a pleasure to see them doing yoga asanas, and it's a pleasure to see them chanting. Now, Shubha, this is for your information. These people have already, most of them have started Karma Yoga Sloka Sangra. They know it, some of them, they know it by heart. So that is how it has happened. The same thing I can do it in Phoenix or any place where about 5 or 6 people are available. I travel over there and we will do it. Ravi, you have got a responsibility of creating that group.
Right? Yeah. And
Shubha is also in Phoenix. So
is it? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, Shubha is also from Phoenix. And one of the best of the batches I had in-person classes there. When I came over there, that was a wonderful batch group. But near 30 people came. Out of them, 7 are senior medical professionals. And then they left all those things for 10 days. They were there with me from 5:30 to 7 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah,
we spent that time, and then none of them we got bored. At the end of the class, we used to fight more energetic. And then me also, I am also energetic. They were also energetic. That is why wonderful time we had. So like that we can create. The only thing is participation is required, enthusiasm. Okay.
Yeah, I just got from my vacation. I just got back from vacation, so I didn't get a chance to meet with this whole group in person and talk about this. But I will definitely talk to them, and I also see why they didn't join. But yeah, I am a morning person. I like morning classes too, but the work is not cooperating, so I am looking for alternatives. But yeah, my wife is also interested.
We'll provide you an alternative. We'll do it in the evening. We'll increase the evening classes.
Okay. All right, Guruji, that's all I have.
Is there any other question? Anybody? Okay. Shall we conclude it?
Guruji, can I say one more thing? Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
Though, if your spouse is interested, I highly encourage that, because I would think that was one of the most successful things for me, is doing it with Linda, because she sometimes pushes me when I'm a little tired. I might push her when she's a little tired, although it's usually the first way around. But also we see our advancement together, how we're learning things together, and it feeds back and makes it more positive. So it was very good to have her with me, and I've enjoyed it. So if she wants to do it, make sure you do it together.
Sure, Chris. Thanks for this. Yeah.
Chris, thank you very much, because I know Ravi and I know his wife also. She's a wonderful lady, and she's also equally enthusiastic. To do it together, there will be great fun.
Yeah.
Of course, there will be a kid and all that. He's also grown up. You can hand for about a couple of hours. You can leave him. He will also feel good. At last, he got freedom. He will enjoy his freedom. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Chris, for the suggestion. Yeah. Shubha?
I don't see any other questions, Guruji. I think we can conclude.
Concluded. Thank you very much for joining the webinar. I think the timing is not 4:30, 5:30 on a Sunday evening. It is may not be really suitable for most of the people. But then I am in India, so I just concluded. Maybe we'll think of how to address those people who are not attended. We will try to address them. Send this whatever the recording that is there, and we will see how to go. Okay. Thank you very much. We will conclude it. There. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kasya dukkha bhavet. Om Shanti. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to the teachers. My very sincere thanks to the teachers and the Vivekananda group, as well as those people who have joined the webinar. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Guruji.
Good evening. Bye. Okay, Shubha, thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Okay, we'll chat off. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Bye.
Bye, Linda. That's wonderful to have you.